All right, well, Razor, there are big brews, there are bold brews, there are regular brews. This might be a weak brew or a short brew. How about that?
This is
Welcome.
a necessary brew, right? Well, I want you to just smash it back.
Welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Boston Bruins lose, understatement, lose to the Winnipeg Jets 8-1. 5 goals scored, beg your pardon, in the third period. Bruins down 3-1 entering the third, and then a goal early on in the third begins the demise. And again, they lose 8-1. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is proudly presented by Fazenda Coffee. Fazenda Coffee Roasters located in Dedham, a lead sponsor for Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Go check out fazendacoffee.com/morning brew. Morning Brew Blend, the Morning Brew hats, the Clean Canteen, or any of their other roasts. Whether you've got a wholesale or retail business, check out fazendacoffee.com. All right, Razor, let's get right into this one. This, there's no sugarcoating. There is no silver lining whatsoever. The players were, we heard from about 3 or 4 of them post-game, from Brad Marchand to David Pastrnak, Jeremy Swayman, everybody talking about how they got beat by a better team. Joe Sacco as well. We know it's going to happen in season. Does it feel worse? Does it look worse because of how well the Bruins have been playing lately, except for the fact, my friend, they haven't been playing against some of the top teams in the league? Does that bother you a bit more, given that Winnipeg has been one of the better teams?
No, just because of it was just a horrible third. That's how it got so out of hand. It wasn't they didn't get completely blitzed in the first 5 minutes, and they were down 5-0 in the first. They have to back it up. No, don't get me wrong. If this happens 2 or 3 times on this trip, then we're back to where we were when Jim Montgomery got fired. But in the case of tonight and in the vacuum of tonight, it was a team that got outplayed, that just couldn't get momentum back after a double minor in the first period, and then certainly a team that pulled the chute when they gave up a goal early in the third period to go down 4-1.
I remember I kept thinking in this game, even though when the Bruins were down 2-0, I kept thinking, they're down 2-0, they're getting beat, but this doesn't feel anywhere near as bad as that game did last year when the Bruins were in Winnipeg.
Last year they were down 5-0 going into the third. They scored a garbage goal late, but it was, you're right, not even close to that. But for a cross reference.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. The Bruins had some chances in this game. Did they dominate ever? No. Did they have some chances? Yes. I mean, the Brad Marchand, Mark McLaughlin opportunities in the first period were the best ones. There were a few Pastrnak chances. That's not to sit here and say they were close, but it was okay. Get through it, figure out, not your best, not your worst, but nowhere near, not awful, like the previous time you were in Winnipeg when you got it handed to you. And then the third period began. So I guess a couple of things. Let's just talk about the third period. It's early on in the third period. The Bruins come out, you're down 3-1. So you're saying in theory, there's a chance, right? There's just
they're down 3-1 last game they won. So
get one goal in the first 10 minutes, and there's a chance, right?
Just hang around, maybe
hang around somehow, some way. But then Kyle Connor gets his 16th goal of the season, 1:15 in, and as you said, both on the air and a little bit here as well, you could see it, you could feel it. Is that just a team thinking the other one's better? It's not their night. A team, they shouldn't be tired per se. They just got on the road. What happens there?
Well, you get deflated. You just do. If you come out of the room, you're saying all the right things in that dressing room. You're saying we're right there. Let's get one in the first 10 minutes. Let's hang around, see what happens. Let's get to our game. You win a face-off in the defensive zone. You do exactly what you want to do off that defensive zone face-off, where they defense interchange. Zadorov goes in behind the net. He hits Brad with the forwards screaming out of the zone on the weak side, and it doesn't work. It doesn't get completed. It doesn't get finished, and Winnipeg's able to take it and just ram it right down your throat. It's the best players again, Scheifele, Connor, They're the best players last night. Tonight they were the best players on their team, and that's a situation where, okay, you just can't get your momentum back. You just spent 20 minutes in the dressing room getting yourselves going for this period, and that's it. Typically, both teams kind of go through the motions in this game when it's 4-1, and Winnipeg just sits back. However, you get a few fights in this one. Winnipeg continues to keep their guard up. The Bruins are out of it at that point. David doesn't play a lot. You see everybody get to 13, 14 minutes, and you're moving on to Seattle. And then on top of it, a couple goals go in that your goalie would like to have. So 8-1 happens quick in the NHL when you do take your foot off the gas. That's the one lesson I think we've learned, and this team's definitely learned, giving up 8 once, 7 once, 8 once now, and Swayman 6, 7, and 8 in those 3 games. That it climbs on you quickly if you take your foot off the gas. And that's the one thing that I'm a little bit, it's happened 3 times now. Like it really, you have to be careful with this one. You don't want to be the team that gives up 7 when you lose.
Yeah, you can't. You've worked very hard to re-identify yourself, and it feels like you're on the slippery slope. Maybe not the precipice, but another 2 games like this, Razor, in the next.
Like they need to get back Thursday night to a 2-1 game. Win or lose, it's got to be a 2-1 game kind of thing. Like that's the mentality of practice tomorrow.
It has to be, right. I mean, all the leaders said the right thing. Now they have to do the right thing. Velarde scored, so it's 4-1 on that Kyle Connor goal. Boy, what a quick shot he's got from the middle of the ice. And we talked in pregame on Nesson about it. We talked at the end of the game. One of the better teams bringing the puck to the middle of the ice, scoring from the slot. More than half their goals that Winnipeg has scored have been from the slot. And it's just, in this game too, I mean, at least 5, maybe 6, 5 for sure were from that area. And man, oh man, the Bruins, that's where I get a little concerned. I feel like we're starting to see more opportunities again where the D don't gap well and then the puck gets into that slot area. That Connor goal was Velarde's. I guess technically it's from just out. It's the slot still considered, but he beats Swayman with one I think that he needs to save there. Razor past that blocker side at the 5:35 mark, and then the 7:19 mark. Iafallo gets a goal on the power play. As the Bruins, I think it was McAvoy who had taken a penalty, and for the check to the head, and then the second unit comes out for Winnipeg, and they score quickly. Boy, their power play is good. You talked in how the power play was over 40% for a while when Winnipeg went 15-1, and then it started to really struggle until recently. But they scored 3 for 6 tonight. And then let's get to the fights that happened. So after Iafallo scores, it's 5-1, 6-1 at that time. I mean, Trent Frederick off the faceoff gets into a scrap with David Gustafsson, who's played a little over 100 games in the NHL. And I think, what did I say he has in the NHL? 14 minutes, 11 minutes in penalties now?
11.
Well, that's
including this one.
Including this one tonight.
Yeah.
So he's not a fighter. And I think that ticked off the Winnipeg Jets. That Trent Frederick caught him with a good right. Caught him on the chin. And the guy's not a fight. I don't think he's ever fought in Sweden. I don't think he's ever fought anywhere. And he gets into it. He takes it. And Winnipeg was pissed off, I think, after that.
They certainly were. Yeah, certainly were. And we've seen the Bruins be upset about something like that in a similar fashion. Any team would be when a guy who knows how to handle himself or is used to handling himself in that situation goes up and forces someone who isn't into a fight. It's a way to get everybody's attention out on the ice. Kastelik fights at the same time. Lowry, they both know what they're doing, and then. Or no, sorry, not Lowry. The Stanley. Yeah, I was the same 2 big monsters out there. And then Lowry and Zadorov, the other 2 big monsters, go at it right away because Lowry's pissed. He's the captain. He's the leader. He's strong. He's big. He's saying, "Take me on next time." That's what the message is. That you go after me. You don't go after guys like that. That's bullshit. And so that's where again the piling on continued because Winnipeg had more than enough reasons to continue to put the hammer down and continue to play through what was a nothing period for everybody.
Yeah. Then they had another power play chance. They put their top guys out there. They don't score, but then Appleton scores one from just about the goal
Yeah, it's
line.
brutal. Yeah.
I mean, that's one that I'm not sure what Swayman was or wasn't thinking there. And then there's another goal. Chibrikov scores his first goal at the 16:26 mark. And, Winnipeg just absolutely throttles the Bruins in the third period, out shooting them 13-8. Again, statistics, we like to break down the stats and everything. Not in this one. I mean, you could look more to the first two periods and talk about certain things. Bruins had 8 shots in each period total, so they had 24 total. Winnipeg still outshot them in the first 14 to 8. The Bruins had some chances in that first period, though. Nemesnikov is going to end up getting his 7th goal of the season as we go back to the beginning of the game, Razor, to where he scores off of a funky carom off the shin guard of Niederreiter. Pionk with the shot from the point. We talked about it. I think it's worth talking about it here too. The Winnipeg power play is so good because of all the multiple options they have, but also the lack of predictability and also their insistence on getting rid of the puck quickly, and in particular their D-men, starting with Morrissey and then Pionk. It's just such a different, it seems like the most obvious thing, right, Razor? Like that's what you got to do, but not enough teams either have that talent or they have that mentality, and Winnipeg does.
They have both. They certainly have both. They have, their first unit's full of a bunch of Nate Ellers isn't out there. You can shoot the puck and play well in the bumper and find the bumper as well. But no, it runs around Morrissey from my point of view on that first unit, especially. He's so good at getting pucks through. We saw it on the goal. A few of the goals where it goes low to high and it's back down low right away, and no one can get back to their structure. Seams start to open up, and he's also a serious threat where you have to, kind of get into an I formation as well, which opens up the flanks as soon as you do that. So, again, many options. Their power play was struggling at the back end of their road trip, but certainly got back on track against the Bruins tonight. And it was just the puck moving that allowed it, and the shot first mentality early in the units.
So it's 1-0 with that Nemesnikov goal. Again, the carom off of the shin guard of Niederreiter from the right side over to the left side. And he just has to push it into the net because it's an empty net. That's at 12:09. And then at the 18:01 mark of the first period, Scheifele gets his first of 2 goals in this game from Connor and Velarde. This becomes now not just the Mark Scheifele show. I thought the Winnipeg Jets center show. I did. I thought between Scheifele and Nemesnikov and Lowry, Gustafsson didn't play much, but I really thought you saw their centers, the Jet centers, far superior to the Bruins centers in this game. And at times, I kind of struggled to find, Lindholm had the chance in the first period, correct? Yeah. Early on in the game, he had a chance, Razor. But I don't remember a ton after that from him. And then Charlie Coyle, who did take face-off, or a couple of face-offs, not many, he hasn't been. He had 1 shot on goal, 3 hits in this game, and played 15-20. I don't really remember a lot from him either in this game. And then Pavel Zacha. Pavel played 19 minutes. I remember him handling the puck a few times. He was 7 for 9 in the face-off circle. I just thought the Bruins centers got beat by the Jets centers. Do you agree?
Yeah, they did. And listen, the Jets are built with center and goaltending, and their centers win they win 21 games this season. Their centers are good. The Bruins, so the Bruins, obviously their superstars are on the wing right now. So the centers have to keep it close anyways. And to your point, I don't think they did tonight. You look at a -3 for Lindholm, a -1 for Zacha. -1's a win in an 8-1 game. -3 is no bueno. Freddie's -2. So these guys, they got beat up. And it turned again. It got very cumulative by the end because again the damage was all done in the third period, or a lot of it was for these guys. So it gets ugly at the end, but again, they're Winnipeg's built center, D, and goalies.
Well, when you're built down the middle like that, you are built strong. You are built well, just like what Graciano Construction can do for you. They can build things for you really, really strong. Graciano Construction, serving Boston and the greater Metro West area, and maybe even a little further outside of that. If you have an opportunity for them, reach out to Graciano Construction. They are the contractor who will help you refresh and revitalize your space. Doug Graciano and his crew respect the customers, and they make sure the customer is thrilled in the end. GracianoConstruction.com or call 508-330-7589. 508-330-7589. Call them to discuss what you're looking to do. Get a consultation with them, and Doug or somebody from his crew will come out to your house. Speaking of house or apartment or whatever, check out RTN Realty. We're getting these in quickly, buddy, tonight, as this is, again, a short view. This is not what we would call a heavy-duty loaded brew. RTN Realty, if you're looking to buy, sell, or lease a new place in Mass, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire, check out RTN Realty for all of your real estate needs. Birthday boy, Chris Gentile, as this will get debuted on the 11th. Yes, happy birthday to Chris. Yes, Chris and his staff of 16 agents, they support you and have you covered for whatever you're looking to do. Reach out to Chris at cgentile@rtnrealty.com or call him directly at 617-835-0845 for a no-pressure consultation. The real estate market is ever-changing in this area. Understatement. Make sure you want to get up, connect with somebody who you can trust and has your best interests at hand. RTNRealty.com and Chris Gentile have just said, again, happy birthday to Chris, and check out RTN Realty. I'm not even going to ask you for an Apex most entertaining moment. I mean, for me, I guess it would be a Pastrnak goal, right? On the one-timer. I mean, you want to talk about that as we talk about Apex entertainment, 100,000 square feet of pure fun. If we want to talk about a most entertaining moment, is there anything else that entertained you, my friend?
Well, I mean, we had the fights for that. That was like a cheap dopamine hit, I guess. The cheapest of all kinds at those guys' expense. The game was over, but you got a little bit of action going. It's David Slapper. It brought them back into the game. You thought maybe you could get a little push late in the second. We haven't seen it. Dale, October 26th was the last power play goal for David Pastrnak. Dale had that one. Neither one of us believed that was from over in his office on the right wing or left wing. So yeah, that was good. That was, and again, I thought the power play moved the puck around on that one well. I thought the lead up to that was really solid. The power play continues, again, no silver, but one little positive. I thought they did move it well on the two units, the two opportunities they had. So that's it. But we are grasping at straws to get to there.
We are. Yeah. No, we are. I would agree with you.
Love Apex, though.
Yes, we do love Apex.
It's a good day tomorrow to go for anyone at home. 2 inches of rain in Boston. So
yeah. Well, that's better than the multiple inches or centimeters. They say it in centimeters in Canada, and it always even sounds worse than it is.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like 44 centimeters,
That's right?
That's like 3 inches, right? Like 44 centimeters, 3 inches. I don't know the whole conversion. But Winnipeg looked like it's Winterpeg already. Holy shit.
That's awful.
They're getting it. They are already getting it up there. And I wonder if they're getting it in Calgary or Edmonton. We'll have to check out. But first, the Bruins go to Seattle. I'm quickly looking up. You said October 26th was the last power play goal. That was against Toronto at home by David.
Well, that was good. That pass by Marchand through the seam.
Right.
That was a beauty power. But it wasn't a one-timer from up top. It was a pass from down low.
Exactly. So we hadn't seen this. We're jonesing for this. It's obviously concerning that we haven't seen it. So this was nice. He gets it on the left side. He had 2 previous one-time attempts, David Pastrnak had, as we talk about his goal, that missed the net, completely missed the net. You're like, oh, no, he had one that the net was open too, and he ended up missing it. Another one was just off, but then he puts one, actually it caroms off the stick of Dylan DeMello, the defenseman who comes over, but he can't get over there enough because he had to stay more true to the middle of the ice because the Bruins did a good job to Razor your point about working the puck to the other side and moving it quickly. It forces that guy to not be standing right on top of David, and therefore it opened up the seam for him, and he gets that goal. So that's your Apex most entertaining moment of the game. So look, anybody that is played, and by the way, Swayman after the game pretty much called himself out. Some of those goals in the third were not good. I don't want to say I didn't think anything in the first two periods was really him. You'd love maybe a save, but on the third, on the Velarde goal, am I remember correctly, or was Velarde in the third already? Am I screwing that up?
Velarde was in the third. It was the one.
So two Scheifele's.
The second one,
yeah.
Right? Like if he could have got one, like he's kind of there. He's made that save before.
Okay, so you'd like a save there, but it wasn't like egregious.
Correct.
The third period was not good. I'm putting everything on him, but he even talked about it. Yeah. It makes sense though, whether or not he ends up winning this game. It make sense that this trip sets up for Swayman, Korpisalo, Swayman back against Vancouver, then Korpisalo, Calgary, Swayman, Edmonton. Right? It just sets up 3 games for Swayman, 2 for Korpisalo. I mean, is that too simple? Obviously, you got you goalie Bob and the staff would look at I think performance and results and maybe consider, but if they're going to map something out, the 3-2 scenario for me seemed to make a ton of sense.
I would just add the Buffalo game into that map and say Korpisalo play 2 of the next 6. That's where I would have went. I'm not sure.
Well, does tonight's result change?
It doesn't have to, because I think, again, I think Korpisalo plays Thursday, and then Swayman will get Hockey Night in Canada. That's a starting night. That's the starters play that night. If he plays great, I think you go back to him. Calgary.
You have 2 days off.
Correct. You go back to him, Calgary and Edmonton, and then Korpisalo plays the home game that everybody flies back and gets in late, et cetera, et cetera. Just a hard game to play. And Swayman gets the last game. So what I'm saying is I think Korpisalo plays 1 game the next 3 weeks. So whether it's Calgary, they rotate. I think he just plays one of those 3 games this week, one of the 3 games next week, and then one of the games during Christmas break.
Well, that gives Jeremy then, in theory, we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves, but it's what we do here. That would give Jeremy then after the 21st, he would have from the 22nd through the 26th off, and he may not get that game on the 27th. That could be Korpisalo too coming.
Correct, coming out of that, and then he'll play back at home on the 28th.
Yeah, could. Right. Obviously, though, I do think results will play into this, an eye test.
No, listen, you give up 8 and the other guy gets a shutout, and you have a coach that's still feeling this thing out. Listen, Jeremy Swayman is the number 1 guy. He is. He's not. That's not changing. It's not going to change based on results for the next month and a half. He's got a lot more leash to go, but in the near term, again, that might change next week, but I think Swayman's playing Saturday night almost no matter what. He's going to have to. They're going to get to work. I love Marshy after Marshy had some tidbits there tonight where we haven't been practicing well. This has been coming on. We have to practice better tomorrow. It starts there. Like he was the most upset out of everyone in that he could feel this coming.
Well, I got to tell you something. I went to practice yesterday. Just knowing that they're going on the road and getting out and Razor, they had the day off on Sunday after the good comeback on Saturday, the day off on Sunday. And you knew that they probably wouldn't have the sharpest practice, and you don't always base, everything on practice. But after a good kind of energetic first drill, you could see it gradually go down and down. And you want to talk about not being able to connect on passes, not being able to make, to make plays, not being able to. There was no connection. After a while, everybody in the stands watching was like, "Oof, this is kind of ugly," which I expected, but I didn't expect to be. And I'll be honest with you, I was talking with somebody, and I was wrong in the sense I said, "Okay, I don't think this matters. What they need to do is they need to flush out the off day on Sunday, and they need to get themselves ready." So while they're not making good plays here, it's going to be all right. I was wrong. They practiced poorly, and they got bit by it.
My guess is the leadership turns up the dial tomorrow in Seattle. That'll be worth watching, that practice, because I think that will be at another level just from listening to the captain and what the expectation is from them. So
I hope so.
We'll hear about that.
All right. Do you have any good Winnipeg stories or no?
No, because I wasn't really there. So, I played a couple exhibition games there. They weren't in the league at the end. One season, my last season was their first season, like 13, 12, 13, 14. Played him in the minors. I played 2 games against the Manitoba Moose in the playoffs. Had a couple big games there, which was nice. But that's it. Didn't spend a lot of time in Winnipeg, fortunately.
Yeah.
But I've been there, and you only
Yeah.
have to go once to never forget it.
Yeah. It's the old, you spent a week there one day.
Yeah,
exactly. Type of thing sometimes.
Exactly.
We could go into ranking cities. Maybe we'll do it another time. It's late at night. All right. Speaking of late at night, the Bruins play on Thursday. The plan is again for us to do a morning brew with Jaffe and Razor after that game. We could call an audible depending on how late it is and if anything's going on or whatever. But we're going to have a show runway either late Thursday, or we'll get up and do a show Thursday morning and Friday morning and get that out for you folks. But just know that there'll be another morning brew with Jaffe and Razor sometime after the Seattle game. This was okay. We're done. That's it. There's nothing more to say about it. And there was nothing really good about it. If they had scored, if they had scored early on in the game, if they had this and that, then they could have had a chance, right? But they didn't. And as I like to say, if I had a full head of hair, I could maybe be a shampoo model, but I don't. So, and the Bruins didn't. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up. I'll tell you to try and enjoy your coffee, and I mean it. Please do if you can, and if you can't, find something else to enjoy. All right, Bruins lose 8-1. We'll be back with you after Thursday's game.